You take the worksheet, then click on the worksheet number 2, question 2. Question 2, that is sheet 2. So when you open that worksheet, you find there's question 1, have question 2, and so on. So we are tackling question 2. So as you see from your worksheet, there is no formulation of the cash flow because the question was stating that you are provided with the following extract of the statement and statement of profit and loss financial position for Darubini Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020, 2021, and 2022. So this is a statement of profit and loss extract that was given. So you don't have that worksheet? Okay, let me share the worksheet there. So, but before I share that worksheet, notice that the examiner will not actually give you this part because the questions states this is what you'll be given, these details. And down here, you are told to prepare the statement of cash flow for the company for the 2 years ended 30th June 2021 and 30th June 2022. That question is supposed to earn you 8 marks. So you're supposed to prepare that statement of cash flow. So what you're supposed to do is first, you have to formulate the structure of your cash flow. That is this data that is provided here. You are supposed to, this is not provided, it's actually, I type this, and that is what you're supposed to type in your exam. You're supposed to type that structure. That is, what do we need in the cash flow? We need the operating activities, we need the working capital items, we need the investing activities and financing activities. So from each of these, you're supposed to extract that data from the worksheet provided by the examiner. So this you're supposed to formulate. And since you don't have time to write down that, though you're supposed to type it in your exam, you're supposed to type, I'll send you that worksheet that is already formulated with that statement of cash flow. Then we are going to run that cash flow together. We're going to run it together. So I'm sending in that platform that is in the Zoom platform. Then I'll send another copy. I'll send another copy through the WhatsApp. You're connected to the WhatsApp, you can get that copy there. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. So confirm whether you get that or you have got the copy. If you got the copy, download it in your machine, then click on the second worksheet. That is where our data is. So I've sent another copy in the WhatsApp. So you just download from the two, either of the two. Then once you get the data, please confirm that you get the data so that you can proceed. Just proceed. If you have you have that data. Confirm that you got the data. You have the data. just download the worksheet. That's the same way you'll do. That is the same way you'll do when that is during the exam. You download the worksheet in your machine. Then the information that is provided here, this information is provided in different cells. Then from there, you're supposed to capture that information from the worksheet provided. Okay, fine, I have seen that. So now, let's tackle the first question. You are told to prepare the statement of cash flow. In that worksheet, I've already formulated the cash flow. You are supposed to prepare the statement of cash flow for the year 2021 and 2022. So what do you have to take from your worksheet? You start with the profit before tax. You first create the cash flow for the year 2021, and the cash or the profit before tax from our data. We are supposed to refer to the cell that has the profit before tax. So why is the profit before tax? If you check very well, you find the profit before tax is somewhere here. And in the worksheet, you're supposed to take that profit for 2021 because you are formulating the cash flow for 2021. So you say equals to, start with an equal sign, then you select the cell with that profit before tax. That was cell C18. So just click there and press the enter key. So it will pick that cell and to give us the profit before tax. So that is the first thing. Then we need to take the depreciation. That is, we take the profit before tax. Then we are supposed to add back the non-cash flow items, which here we have the depreciation, we have the loss of disposal. We don't have this loss of disposal. We have interest expense. We don't have profit or disposal. So we're going to take the depreciation, which depreciation of 2021 is right here. Get the depreciation of 2021. And you're supposed to pick that cell here. So you just say equals to depreciation, which is minus, and it's supposed to give us a positive number. So you'll say equals to minus 800. So that minus will give us a positive value. That is 800 depreciation. Then we have the interest expense, So according to our worksheet, we are going to add interest expense under the operating activities. Then later we are going to subtract the the interest expense under the financing activities. So here we will just take the interest expense. That is which cell you say equals to, you start with an equal sign, then you select that financing cost, and financing cost is in cell C16, but the value is negative. You just put minus and take that cell, then press enter key. It will give you the interest expense. So then after this, you're supposed to get now the total of this. And here you can use a simple function, like you can say you want to sum the values from here to here, which will give us the total of this amount. So that is the first approach. So the next, you're supposed to identify the working capital items, starting with increase in inventory. You have increase in receivables and increase in payables. So before we pick that, maybe let me ask the question to get this increase in inventory. So you're supposed to take which cells, according to your data, you're supposed to take which cell minus which cell, because it is increase in inventory, increase in inventory. So can someone just check there? Which cell are we supposed to take from our data? We're supposed to take cells from where? We have the inventory. We have inventory under the current asset. If you check very well, you'll find here under the current asset, we have the inventory, but we are looking for increase in inventory. That is, in this year, 2021, we had 15,000. And this year we have 21,750. So if it is increase in inventory, it means we are supposed to pick for 2020 minus that of 2021. So to get the increase in inventory. So there you click on that cell. You click on that cell, let me see. Yes, you take inventory for 2020. That's very good, perfect. It's very good. Redemptor and your friends. So we will take that. There's the first person. There was a yes. We should take the B2 minus the C2, not the C26 minus B26. So that is, you pick that address of the cell. You say is equal to the inventory of 2020 minus the inventory of 2021, and it will get that amount here, increase in inventory. So in increase in assets, what do you do? Remember that we are not looking at inventory. We are looking at the money, not inventory. It is the money. So if you buy more, so this one means that we actually did buy more stock. So that simply means our cash reduced. So that way we are taking this minus this. So we get this. Then increase in receivables. We have receivables too. Increase in receivables. And we'll get the increase in receivables. So let's see. Someone really gives what you're supposed to do there? Increase in receivable. So which cell will you take to get increase in receivables? So you can chart there and give the reason. Increase in asset to minus. Then say of B7, B27, C27. Yeah, perfect. You're supposed to take that cell. So can you really expound why you took that? Why you take that? That is receivables. Increase in what? In receivables. Yeah, receivables for 2020, 2021 minus those of 2022. Is that really the case? That really the case? We take for 2020 minus 2021, not 2021 minus 2020. So that means we'll take that cell that you click here, say equals to the receivables, where the receivables, take the receivables here minus the receivables here. Remember that these are assets, they are assets. They are assets. So what you get here, that is the amount you get here. So when you are given one liability, the payable, we have the payable. And so the payable that you are given is under the liabilities. Here, you are supposed to set the increase in payable. Increase in payable. Now this will be the other way around. So you're supposed to take the value for 2021 minus 2020. So you just pick that increase in receivables. You take the values for 2021 minus the value for 2020. And you get the increase in receivable as this amount. So, so far we have already got are the values that you help us to get the gross operating cash flow. So how do we get the gross operating cash flow? So can someone just help us with that? How we get the gross? So there's something we have not set yet. We have not set the tax. We need to take the tax. So what is the tax? Tax. Oh, before we get that, you can get the total of this. You can get the total of that. Yes, just calculate the total of this. You just use the function sum. You just say is equal to sum from where? Sum from here up to here. So what the computer will do is it will pick the values, it will add these two values minus the two values here and give us an answer here. So which to get, this one will give us the gross operating cash flow. Then from there, you're supposed to reduce, you're supposed to less tax. Supposed to less tax. So where is tax? Someone pick where is our tax. It's already given the tax somewhere. Tax expense is in which cell? You get it there. The tax expense for 2021 is in cell what? In cell C19. Cell C19. So you're supposed to pick that value, and the value is actually minus. You can just pick the way it is. Just click equals to, pick that cell address so that it will give us that minus 4343. Then we will proceed to get our net operating cash flow. The net operating cash flow. So someone can give us how to get this net operating cash flow. How do we get the net operating cash flow? Just type the address there. Remember that we are using the power of Excel to compute this as much accurate as possible with the minimum time possible. So then you're not supposed to type those figures. You're supposed to pick the figures from the worksheet given. So I'm waiting for the answer. How do you get the net operating cash flow? That is very easy. You just pick the gross operating cash flow, then you less the tax, you less tax. How much will you get? Just type the number, the figure there. How much will you get? Just type that figure there. Once you calculate that, what will you get? Someone got 18,526. Do you have another different answer? Another different answer, please. I know there are different answers. Are you sure that is the right answer? Remember that you should not forget the way Excel works, because that is not the right value. Yes, the right value is supposed to be 9840. Yes, supposed to be 9840. Good. So why do we get this? It's very easy, because you just click on the cell, calculate this, you say equals to this amount. We don't minus, because this indicates a minus already. If you say minus, then it will be minus. You add, you get the total of this. You're supposed to take this less this. So instead of typing minus, you put plus. If it is this plus this, which will actually minus. Yeah, so then you press enter, it should give you that value 9840. Then we move on to the investing activity cash flow. And here we are given the acquired of assets. The acquired of assets. So who can really give us how to get the acquired of assets? That is, you use the cell address to give us the acquired of asset. So someone please give us how you get the acquired of assets. So using the cell addresses, how will you get the acquired of asset? Remember that if it is acquiring of asset, we have those assets here, that is the properties, plant, and equipments. We are supposed to pick those values there. But remember that we are acquiring the assets. Acquiring the assets here means that we are spending money. So it's actually part of something we call the cash outflow. Is the cash outflow. It's supposed to give us a negative answer, a negative value. It's supposed to give us a negative value. And this one, again, including that we have a depreciation. So can someone give us the sale address that we are going to use to get the PPEs? PPEs. So just give us the sale address that we're going to use to get the PPEs. Someone says we take B24, then minus C7. C24, not C24. Not B, cannot, okay. Then if you put that formula, what will be your answer? What will be your answer? Just type the answer. What will be the answer? If you use that formula you have used, what will be your answer? So I don't really think it will be like so. Okay, good. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, so that is very okay. So that is, if you to get this, you get 19,400. Which formula did you use? Okay, let's do that formula together. Let's reason out together that we are supposed to get the values of this. Then a simple formula will be like this. We'll take the value of that is this value of 2020, the value of 2020. Then you are supposed to remember that we said the use of BODMAS is very important. If the formula has more than one sign, you should have a bracket somewhere. If you don't have a bracket, you get a wrong answer. So you take, we are going to add depreciation because the depreciation was already in negative 800. So we reduce, take this reduced depreciation. Then from there, we minus the value for 2021, minus the value for 2021. And this one will give us that the acquired of asset PPE is a part of cash outflow that we bought, we actually bought more equipment. So that means we spend, anywhere we get minus, it means we spend that amount to get that particular value. So then the next thing is the net investing. Net investing, we will just pick that sale above there with the value that we have already got. So just say equals to that sale, and you get the net investing. So far, what do we get? We already have got value A. Where is our value A? So we can give our value A here. So just reduce this, get value A here. You already got that value A there. So hope you got, that is, this is the net operating cash flow. Then next we have already got this. We have already got this, that is our B now. So we just type there B. Then we are looking now for C. That is the financing activity. Dividend is not given, you can just type there 0. But we have the borrowed. We are given the borrowed. And if you get the borrowed there in our profit and loss statement, we have the long-term borrowing for 2020 and 2021. So then you're supposed to pick the values for 2021 minus, that is 2021 minus the values for 2020. So you say is equal to, here, let me zoom out kidogo. So we'll get the values for borrowing. Values for borrowing. Just a minute. Yes, so we just pick equals to the values for 2020, 2020. Where is the long-term, the long-term borrowings? Take this value here, minus this amount here. So that is the amount we borrowed is this. So far we have the interest expense. Initially we added, now we are going to pick that interest expense. We are reducing now here under the investing activity. So just pick that value there so that we can now compute the net financing. And the net financing cash flow. So how do you get the net financing cash flow? So you just pick this value, and since this one is already minus, we're going to add that cell so that we subtract the two. It will give us that as our net financing cash flow, which now will be our C. If we're up to here, we already got our C, and our C is right here. So in that cell. So now we are supposed to get the cash and cash equivalent. Cash and cash equivalent. So how do we get this? We already have our A, B, and C. So meaning that you pick the value of A, we add with the value of B, which was a minus. Then we add with the value of C, which you have got here. And once we do this, it will give us a value, the cash and cash equivalent of 4026. I hope you have such a figure in your worksheet. You have such a figure in your worksheet. Someone is saying we repeat the PPE acquired. Yeah, I will repeat that. So under the PPEs, we said that from our worksheet, here we bought more equipment. If you check very well that in the year 2020, these are the properties, the plant, the properties, these are the fixed assets that we had at this time. And the next year, they reduced a depreciation of 800. So meaning that it reduced by 800, 25, then we 25, 800, then we subtract 800. Then again, in this year, we bought more equipment worth 45, 200. That is even much higher. So meaning that we actually used a lot to buy these items, our cash outflow, that is cash outflow. That way we took that amount. We take the 25, 800, we reduced the 800, then we subtracted the PPEs for 2021, and that is what brought to this conclusion. So that is, we are acquiring assets, but here what you are giving is money. So the cash outflow, we spend this amount to buy our assets. I hope that one is clear now. Yes. So finally, once you set all the other values which you have already set, we are able to get the cash and cash equivalent of this amount. So meaning that the next thing you're supposed to check is the balance. We add the balance brought forward. Which was the balance brought forward? If you check very well from our worksheet here, these guys, the cash and cash equivalent at the year 2020, they had no money in the bank. It was zero. So they had no money in the bank. But if you check down here, you'll get a bank overdraft of this amount. So meaning that the balance brought forward was a minus. It was a negative amount. So that is what you're going to apply here. You say that it is equal to cash and cash equivalent for 2020. Then we minus the bank overdraft. So far, the balance brought forward, was minus 52.97, minus 52.97. That is the balance brought forward. And finally, you're supposed to get the balance carried forward. What will be the balance carried forward? That is to the next year, that is 2022. You want to see whether the balance carried forward will be equal to what we have in 2022. So how do you get this? Then you say is equal to this. Then we do what? We add, because we are supposed to, yes, we add this, and it will give us that 93.23. That is the balance brought forward. What we have in this, what do we have here? This cash and cash. Balance brought forward. It will be how much? 93.20. Yeah, so you can check that. So we've got that amount, and so you get the amount under the balance, the bank overdraft, you get this amount here, that it was still 0 here. So the amount is down here. Notice that it is just missing with one value. Probably customers, sometimes they do make some simple mistake. And we can really try to fix this error, that since we get this, the difference of 1, then if you check very well, where is our tax? Notice our tax was given as 43.43. So then the typing error could have occurred somewhere here. If you change this 43.43 to 43.42, which I think maybe someone interacted with this worksheet, then you press that, automatically our figure will balance with 93.22. I hope you have seen that if you change your tax, then it will give us the amount. That is, you can see very well that this is the amount we got here. You can shade this one in a different color, and it's the same amount we'll get over here. So I hope you are together up to that far. So what is much important? First, when you are answering these questions, the first thing is to key in the data the right way. Go the format, just write the format first. Pick the records. So hata kama hizo records hautakuwa accurate, but at least you have something you can present with the right format, with the right entries. Hata kama haita balance, but you're still okay. But it is actually very, very, very hard to fail to balance, because now it's not the same way as writing with a pen, because here the computer is picking the right value in the right cell. So that simply means that the element of accuracy is enhanced. So once we get for 2021, we don't have to compute for 2022. So the only thing you have to do is to copy the formula to the right. You just select this and you copy the formula to the right. And one thing, the most interesting part of it is that you can highlight all these cells. You can highlight all these cells up to here, and you copy the formulas all at once. And you have to be careful when doing this, because it may end up giving a different values in some cases. So I would prefer you just copy one at a time, because some will give different values. Just, yeah, why are we copying to the right? Because if the formula here we indicated is this, then the same formula will be used to pick the values from here. If this formula we indicated, they will pick the value from here. The same formula will be taken to pick the value from here. If the depreciation here was 800, then automatically it will pick the 750 depreciation of 2022. So the same case will happen to the expenses, that it will pick that value there. So you don't have to type them, because if you type these values, then you'll not be able to achieve this. So if the inventory was this for this year, then it means for the other year, if you copy the formula to the right, then it will pick the values of 2022 and 2021, which will be very, very right. So that is, you copy all these worksheets across. And once you do this, it will automatically compute the values for you. And you'll automatically get the right answer without having to compute again. So just copy to the right, copy to the right. This dividend was 0 here. You copy to the right, supposed to remain 0 again. Then you copy these again to the right. And once you finish, you get the value of C for 2021. So meaning that these values will be added together and will help you to get cash and cash equivalent for 2020. If you double click there, you'll see it, you pick those values above. You pick this value, and this value. So hence, it makes your work so easy. Then you get the balance brought forward. Now it is taking the value of this cash and cash equivalent of this year. Then we reduce what? We reduce the accounts, that is the bank overdraft of this year, and you get the same figure there. Then finally, if you copy this one across, then you get the amount that you get here is the amount that we have over here. So you can shade with a different color. Let's see that the amount we have here is the same amount that we have over here, because here, since the bank has something now and we don't have any more overdraft. So the balances will have to balance with that amount. So I think we got that. That is how you're supposed to compute that cash flow. So anyone with a question, please, you can ask the question before we proceed to the next question. Someone is getting what? Where? I don't think you can really get such amount. If you have really followed the formula. Someone is asking for the worksheet. That is the why should you get the worksheet with answer when we have done it together? I think you should do it there. Just do it there. But I'll upload that worksheet once you finish. Don't worry. How do we get loss of disposal? We don't have that in our worksheets. We are not given actually these. I've prepared another question where we will have now the loss of disposal. You have that. And I'll show you how you can include that one in your cash flow. So the only thing that you need to master is that where are these in your structure of your cash flow? Get them under the operating activity. That is the loss of disposal here you add, but the profit on disposal you less, you minus. Huh? Yes, so that is what you do. So in case you are given that, why sum, using sum and add sum total, sum the total and others, we are adding the cells. Yes, so in some cases you are using sum. Why? Because we have a number of cells, a range of cells, of which some of these cells we don't have the values. But in a complete cash flow, we'll be given everything. You have to use, you are provided with such things like profit on disposal and other things like the loss of disposal. Then you have to provide that. You have to provide that. Remember that disposal normally works where we are disposing some assets. In this case, we are not disposing any asset. What we are doing, we are buying more assets. We are buying more assets. So that's why in such a case, we are using sum. Why we failed to use sum down here when we are getting the cash and cash equivalent? Simply because these cells are not in the same place and we are not adding other cells in between there. We are just picking the specific cells to add and to give us that value. Then other situation where we are using is where we are only adding two cells. You don't have to use sum there. So you don't have to use sum in such a case. So that then will help us to obtain that. How do we insert the negative sign on inventory and receivable figures? The inventory and receivable figures, where are these receivable figures? So here we have the receivable. Oh, why did we get negative? Okay. So we pick the amount of the 2020 minus the amount of 2021. 2020 minus 2021. These are assets. Anywhere we are dealing with assets, the increase in asset meaning anywhere you are told increase in asset, it simply means that you are buying more assets. What is happening to your cash? Your cash is reducing. Your cash is reducing by a specific amount. So that is cash outflow. It's cash outflow. That's why we are getting that amount. And the reason why you got that very strange figure there, if you got positive values. Got positive values. If you are disposing assets, then it will not be cash outflow. It will be a cash inflow. So I think that one is clear. Then during the exam, the practical question only 3A. They are not 3. So let me answer that question using the worksheet for 2020 that was done. The question for practicals are 5. For this pilot paper, you are given only 3. But for the exam, you will get 5 questions. Out of those 5 questions, you're supposed to choose 3 questions. You're supposed to choose 3 questions. So this is a worksheet. This is a workbook that was done. Just give us time to load. The worksheet that was done. Taking time to load. It's happened. So the worksheet that was done the last sitting, there were 5 questions. You're supposed to choose any 3. So you have to choose the question very wisely. You don't have to, if the question you don't have any idea about it, please don't go attempting such questions. So this was the question for 2022. There were question 21. Question 2021 was about you're supposed to curate and interpret some ratios. We'll actually discuss more about these ratios, the revenue growth rate. This is a question that is not missing in any of all these question, past papers. Then question 2022 was about the net present value, something we have really discussed over a very long time. So, and we are going to tackle this one too. Then we have this, the question about the NPV. There is something I'm going to show you about the XNPV and XIRR. So we're going to discuss more about that and see how you can solve such question. Then question 24 was about you're supposed to prepare what? Here you are given another cash flow. This was a cash flow again. You're supposed to prepare the statement of cash flow for, again, the years there. So we said that the most important thing is first to set up that format. You have the format first. Then once you have the format, you just pick those values. And once you do that, then you'll be able to achieve that. So once you finish this question, you'll go and attempt that question here. I'll send you this copy too. You go and attempt question 24 of the last sitting. You attempt that question, you're given these statements. You're supposed to extract that cash flow for those days. So the questions are not only 3, we have more questions. We have 5 questions. Then I think we are good to go. We don't have more questions. Let's proceed to the next question. So that question was supposed to earn you 8 marks. Was supposed to earn you 8 marks. Then you move to the next question. You are told to calculate and comment on the following key ratios. So you are supposed to compute the revenue growth rate for the year ended 30th June and 30th June 2021 and 30th June 2022. So here you're supposed to formulate a small worksheet. I wish we formulate this worksheet just against this data, against here. That is, should we get it here? Although you're supposed to compute those values below your worksheet, like what we have done here is supposed to be done just below here, below your worksheet. That is, your working should be done down here. Although sometimes working from this side is a bit easier because you see it is easy to achieve. It is easy to achieve those questions, that is those cells, when you are working from here. And comparison is again very easy to get. That is, you can really compare. So what you're supposed to have, we are going to formulate that worksheet. And down here, you say that you are solving question 2. This was let me name them properly. This was Roman A, question 2, question 2020, 22A. So when you are answering the question, please indicate the question that you are solving. So here you can type question 20, 22A. Solution for question 22A. It is important to indicate that. If possible, just note with a different color. Then from there, we are going to solve the next question. You can even do it down here. just down here, question 22b. So we have it here. So what are we supposed to compute here? First, the formulation of the worksheet I told you, the examiner will not give you that. You're supposed to type. What are we supposed to compute here? The first thing you're supposed to compute is revenue growth. They are asking for revenue growth rate. Revenue growth rate for 2021. We also compute the revenue growth rate for 2022. So you can pick these and paste here. Then finally, you're supposed to get what? The 2-year cumulative average revenue. So the 2 years cumulative average average revenue growth rate. So growth rate. So we are given, we are supposed to compute those values. And here we are, we need to compute this. So in the cells provided here, we are going to compute that. You can create a small table. And how do you get the revenue growth rate for 2021? Very easy. You're supposed to pick the values of your sales. And the sales is given above here, that in year 2021, the total sales were 64,800. This year, we have 54,000. So if you are to pick this, then first you take the growth. What was the growth? The growth is this minus this. Then that growth you get, you divide by this for 2020. So simply you say that it is equal to, the sales for 2021 minus sales for 2022. Remember that in this worksheet, you're supposed to use the border mass. If you write the formula this way without indicating or showing the brackets, then it will give you a very, very wrong answer. Like for example, if you pick this and press enter, notice the value that this formula will give us. It will give us a very funny answer. Why? Because we have not included brackets in our formula. So it is very necessary to have these brackets first, because to help us to work out what is in bracket first. So you will get this 0.2. You're supposed to convert this one into percentage. So above here, you will just click percentage and you'll get 20%. So the revenue growth rate for 2021 from 2020 was 20%. So you do the same for 2022. For 2022. Do the same for 2022. So how much will you get? How many percent? Just compute that. You get which percentage? So that's good. At least you compute that, it will give you a rough rate. That is 25%. That is, you pick the value from here, you say is equal to, repeat how you get the growth rate. Now I'm repeating with 2022. You take the sales for 2022. 2022, we did sales of this much. You sold even more. So you take the sales for 2022. Remember to start with the opening bracket. Then we minus the sales for the previous year. The sales for the previous year. Then we divide by the sales of the previous year. We divide by the sales of previous year. Once you do that, you press enter. Then to give you these amounts, which have to be converted into percentage. Remember, you don't multiply by 100, because if you do so, to give you a very big value. So by setting up percentage sign here simply means that is percent, that is multiplying by 100. So you get that. So to get the 2 years cumulative average revenue growth rate, then you get the average of this. You don't have to really struggle there. You can insert the function average. Just say average of these 2 growth rates, and to give you 23%. So once you do that, you'll get the value, or you have answered that. So how many marks are that? So far, we were able to achieve that amount. That is, there are 2 marks, 2 marks, 8 marks is okay. Then the last question, you're supposed to set the return on equity. Return on equity for the 3 years. For the 3 years. Return on equity for the 3 years. So now this one I'll give you to compute first. Just compute first. Return on equity. I'll just give you the formula. The return on equity will take what? Then the net profit minus the total equity, multiply by 100. You can formulate that worksheet and do something. Just formulate that worksheet. now we want to solve for Roman 3. We can do it down here. And now we are solving for Roman 3. So just say there. 3, Roman 3. So, on Roman 3, we are asked to compute what? The return on equity. First, you have to formulate the data. That is, you have to form the data. How is our data? Just a minute, let me fix my machine here. So we'll type there the return on equity. So just like we did the previous one, return on equity. And actually, the simple formula for getting this can even indicate that simple formula here. But we get what? We use net profit. Net profit divided by equity. Here we use total equity. Then we multiply by 100. That is our simple. Yes, and that simple formula, then you're getting the equity for which years. We have this one over here. It should make more sense when it is above here. You have to formulate your work to look more on it. So it's not even supposed to be here. So here, yes, we are calculating for 2020 because we are told for 3 years, 2021 and 2022. So we are computing this for those 3 years. So that will be our worksheet. You can have your worksheet like that. So then we enter the formula in our worksheet referring to the cells given above there. That the cells given above there, we have the net profit. So you just say equals to our net profit. Why is our net profit? Our net profit was given in a cell here. We are starting for 2020. We pick the net profit. Then we divide by the total equity, which amount was given down here. Then we say we don't multiply by 100. First, you press enter key. Then the amount you get here, you set it in percentage. You get that 125%. Then once you get this value, you can just copy across to get the other return on equity for the other years. So, and by doing so, you have already achieved that question. That is this return on equity. So you have seen that someone got this 8. Why? How did you get 8%? How did you get 8, 13, and 13? Which cell are you referring to? Or which is your formula? Because it is the right formula. Remember that the question has asked us to do what? That after getting these values, you're supposed to discuss your results. How are the results? That the return on the investment made for this for the year 2020, 2021 reduced for the year 2021. So I used the total equity and the liability total. So why you do that? That's why you missed that. So you just take the right formula. That is the net profit. Then you take net profit over equity multiplied by 100, and it will give you the right answer. So finally, you are supposed to do the last question. And now the last question, you're supposed to prepare, project the cash, the forecast for 2023. You are told that using the 2 cumulative average revenue, which we have already got here, the 2-year cumulative revenue average growth rate, we got 23%. So using that 23%, that was computed in B Roman 2 above, which is this one here. That is what we computed in B Roman 2. Then you're supposed to do what? You're supposed to prepare a 1 year, not now 2 years, but 1 year forecast of the statement of profit and loss for the year ending 30th June 2023. That is, here we assume that the vertical ratios for the year ended 2022 applies for the 2023 forecast, except that the depreciation and the finance cost remain constant. That is, this value of the values of depreciation and the finance cost, that is the expense, the interest expense remain the same. Tax was assumed to be 30%. So in this case, you're supposed to compute here the cash flow for 2023. Now, referring to the amount that you got, that the return on equity actually increased on average, increased by what? Increased by it increased by 23%. 3%. There's something we are told there about the depreciation, that the value remained constant, and the total expenses, that is the financing cost, again remain constant. That is what you are given, what you are told here. So, and to compute this, then you can use a simple formula that equals to, if it increased by 23%, then you take the value of 2022, and remember that we are only looking for the statement of the financial position up to this far. I'm not going to copy down below that. So you say that equals to this amount. Then you do what? We add the growth. The growth is this amount here, multiplied by the 23% that was computed down here. So you have to refer to that cell. For that cell have to be made absolute. So you press F4 to make the cell absolute. And once you do this, then you get the projection for 2023, projection for 2023. And that projection will be copied down only that you are told that for this, what we call the depreciation, is something you are told about it, that the depreciation, assume the vertical ratios for the year ended this applies for the forecast, except that the depreciation and financing cost remain constant. They remain constant, and the tax assumed to be 30%. So here, if you go back, then remaining constant, it means that is not changing. It's not really changing. So you can say that this value was the same value that we got from here. And the rest, we will proceed with our formula. So you can even copy the formula first, downward up to here. Then you're going to change the values later. Like this value, you can pick that value from here. Then the other value is this one, which you can just pick it from here. It never changed. Yes, and by doing so, then you'll be able to compute those values. You'll be able to compute those values. So that is just simply a simple illustration where let's reduce the number of decimal places. That is what we got. So that is, you are given the value for 20. That is that cumulative, the cumulative average growth rate, which we found it was 23%. Why we had to compute this? Because right now we have realized that the growth rate, cumulatively, the growth rate for the 2 years on average was 23%. So meaning that if the growth rate was 23%, that simply means that if the sales for 2022 was this, then automatically the sales for 2023 will have improved on average by 23%. So that's why we have put that formula here, showing the amount of this growth rate, what will happen, or the amount that will be obtained for 2023. So, and once you get this, then you can copy down the formula in the worksheet, considering that some factors were also retained as constant values. So I think that one is now fine. So that is how you're supposed to solve that entire question. At least arrange your work properly. Make sure that you have the right format for your cash flow. Set the right focus, the right format. Once you have the right format, then you can pick your records from your data. And once you do this, you pick the right values in a very accurate, most accurate way, and to eliminate some errors that normally occurs due to wrong writing of the wrong values. Here, it picks the values from the source. So very rare of making such errors. So that question 2022, we did question 23. I remember we did that. This was about net present value. And did you do that? We did question, I think we did this question C, the question C of it, where we are running this alone. We're able to give out the options. And we are able to compute that. Okay, well, our next discussion, probably in our next class, we're going to check on other questions that are in the previous, that is the last sitting past paper. But question 21, you said you attempt. First, I have not seen anyone who have sent anything showing you have attempted anything. So please go and attempt those questions. Even 23, you can attempt the question again. Just attempt several times. So that will mark the end of that question. Everybody, in our next, someone is asking how do you write the comment on the growth rate that is on the return on equity. What do you say about this? We say that the return on equity is actually the return on investment. That is how we got, or what we got after investing our money in this business. For the year 2020, whatever we invested brought more returns. Then in the year 2021, that whatever we invested reduced as compared from the previous year, and the trend is going down. You can see that trend is actually going down. So our next discussion will probably, which you will do this one in our next lesson. I'm going to leave you with a question. That question we have said that you need to have to practice with the question, and the question that you're going to attempt is in that past paper. I'm going to send the questions in the worksheet. Then you go and attempt question 24. That is another cash flow. Now you can try do it on your own. In case you have questions, you can always raise these questions so that you can have or discuss them together. So after that level, we are going to have our lesson. We'll stop our lesson there. I've left you with some work to do. Just go and attempt that question, and please do attempt the question so that at least when we be revising the question together, then it will be easy for you. It will be easy for you to get the right concept. So just make sure that in case you have questions or challenges with the cash flow, it's always better to go and rewind back from your previous units. Always to remind yourself on how is to run the cash flow. Get all the concept of this, and then from there it will be okay for you to be okay to any question twisted in any way. You will get those questions. So number of people has been asking about the videos, and I don't know how maybe we can really answer you, because we cannot actually give videos direct to your mobile phone or to your device, because actually these videos are the videos that are captured. First, they are filtered. Some of them are filtered for the brightness and such. and they are supposed to be uploaded in the college app. So these are assets of the college. So me, I don't have any video. When I'm teaching here, there is someone who is recording those videos. And to get the videos, then you have to log in to the college app. The videos are actually there. All of them, all the videos we ever did here that has been cleaned. Some of them has been edited very well, and they are uploaded in the college app. So you want to get the videos, then you need to contact through the office, you get those videos. So then the other thing, so I was sending the file, let me send the file. Sending the file here. I want to confirm whether having the worksheet with the solution first. So whether you can access the college app, just go to your Play Store, that is in your mobile phone, the Play Store. You download KCE app. You install it in your machine, in your device, mobile phone. Then from there you can register. That's how you access the college app. So I've sent you the file, and after there we are going to stop there. Just go and do the assignment. See you on our next lesson on Saturday.